Hello and welcome to a special edition of Hot Laps. So I am going to be showing you the best laps that I've done for the 4 time trials that are currently ongoing on Gran Turismo. And all 4 laps that I've done I think are amongst the 4 best laps that I've ever done, which is why I've decided not just to show them off but to show them off back to back. 4 different cars, 4 different tracks, 4 gold medals. All of the laps are comfortably inside the gold medal cutoff times. And as always, for any budding drivers out there who want to learn good technique, I will explain what I'm doing. And if you're just sort of interested in what I do, then I'll also try and explain a bit of the magic whilst we go around as well. So here's the first car. Hang on, I need to just quickly switch to this camera. So we are in a Renault Clio, Renault Clio Cup. It's the V6 mid-engined silly little Clio from the 90s. Oh, actually, I think late 90s, early noughties. Got a nice little bit of a body kit on it, and I'm actually pretending to be in one of the top race teams here, TCR. I'm not actually a member of TCR, but I thought I'd nick the livery because they forgot to protect it. So I thought, yeah, I'll pretend that I'm in one of the best teams in the world. Why not? The track is Bathurst. So we are down under. This track is absolutely fearful for its barriers and its steep hills and narrow, twisty sections. But in this car, I think it was quite easy because this car seems to be pretty slow down the straights, gives you plenty of time to prepare for the next corner. The only thing is, being mid-engined, it is a bit twitchy, and it's on road tyres as well, so it is a bit of a handful sometimes. But without further ado, we're going to crack on with the lap. So coming into turn 1, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the replay just before each corner. So I'll pause it here. I'll talk a little bit about where I'm braking. So for turn 1, the braking point is actually in between the braking markers, which is sometimes a bit annoying. But thankfully, there's a guy standing on the right exactly where I want to be braking. So you see this lovely chap here on the right with the jacket on and the jeans. He's kind of where I want to be braking. Actually, he's actually a bit too far back. So the braking marker that I've been using is either the guy on the right, just as he sort of comes to the edge of my screen, or this shadow going across the track. That's another good braking point. And what you want to be doing here is you want to be braking short and sharp in a straight line. But then you need to just very slowly get out of the brakes and flick the car over. It's a 90-degree corner with a horrible bump on the inside. And you want to get your car just to kiss the inside curb, but without steering too hard. Because if you steer too hard, you're going to lose the back end. So it looks a little bit like this. Down 2 gears, onto that curb. In fact, it's just down 1 gear. I'm talking nonsense. Just down 1 gear. And then riding the car all the way out to the curb. So we'll replay that. I can only go back 10 seconds at a time. Again, Gran Turismo's not very good at these replays. It's a bit annoying, but as you see, we're coming down to the first corner and brake at the shadow, down a gear, into the dip, and use that little bit of road on the outside. You see how the car oversteered on the exit, maybe costing me half a tenth to a tenth down this very long straight. There is always time to be gained. So now we've got quite a long straight, and I'm just going to pause it there. 24.2 is actually quite bad for me. My best through here was a 23.9. So it just shows that this was actually quite a slow start to the lap, and there was more lap time to be had. But now, focusing on the next corner, and we're braking where the end of this tarmac is on the left. So you see the tarmac ends just there, and you can see on my trace on the screen the right is the accelerator, and on the left there's the brakes. And you'll see there I progressively brake down into third, hug that inside, and it feels like you want to be able to take it in 3.5 gear, but there isn't half gears in this car. So if you try and take it in 4th, you'll have no acceleration. So you have to unfortunately drop it down to 3rd. It does feel like the ideal would be sort of in between the two. Now, you've got to prepare yourself for this next corner really carefully. You have to be far over to the right. You see it's a blind corner. It opens out on exit, but immediately into the braking zone for the corner after. So at this stage, I'm sort of visualizing what I'm going to be doing for the corner after this one. And my goal is to get as close to that barrier on the left as possible without losing as much speed as I can. So you can see I'm pretty much flat on the throttle, but then I'm already lifting off here, letting the car run to the outside, getting on the brakes and down 2 gears, braking in a straight line, and then I'm going to cut across and try and sweep the car as close to the left-hand barrier as I can. So you can see there, I'm coming towards that left-hand barrier. I could have even gone a bit closer than that even. It's all about how you judge where you turn in. And then the key is that you want to be on full power all the way from, say, 3/4 of the way around this corner all the way to the exit, because that's going to give you so much extra speed up this hill. Next corner, easy flat. So just keep the car far to the left. I mean, look here, I could not have been further to the left if I tried. All right. And we're just going to bobble over to the right. And again, just don't leave any room. I mean, I could have been even tighter, but I didn't need to be. And then all the way out to the left again. So it's all flat out. Now, another important bit of car positioning here. So you need to gather the car up here and get the car stable, because what you're going to do here is just gently ease off the accelerator whilst turning the car into the left. The apex is actually where this tree is that I've just lined up with the center of the screen there. You see that tree there? That's just bobbling about the center. That is where the apex is, but it's not actually there because obviously it's an illusion. But that is what I was using to aim for that corner. That tree was my guiding point for that corner because it's blind, because it undulates. And then I'm aiming to get the car onto this little piece of tarmac on the right here. Again, trying to get as close as I can to it without being too far off track. And again, you want to lift and turn. So lift and turn on the accelerator nice and early, let the car run out, and another little lift. As soon as you go over that crest, lift, aim for that inside, and back on the full power. Now comes the trickiest part. So this is where you really have to control your braking. So I start braking just as I pass on the shadow underneath this sign, right? And I'm using that just to get the car stable. I want to get the car into this right-hand barrier, and then I'm going to have a second go at braking as I've passed the barrier. And it's sort of a rhythm that you have to learn, is brake off, brake off, brake off as you go down this hill. If you try braking too hard, the car will pitch forwards and you'll have no grip on the rear wheels, especially because you're going downhill. So you really have to keep the braking light. You see, I'm not using full braking at any point. And then I'm just keeping the car rolling down the hill at the speed that it's got in order to make the turns. So I need to keep it to a target speed, to put it another way. Then I'm preparing for the sharp right hand at the bottom of the hill. So my braking marker was actually this this grate on the ground. So as soon as I see that, I just apply a bit more braking, get the car hooked in, and then hook it into that little ditch on the left. I kind of missed the ditch a little bit there, but you want to try and hook the car into that ditch. I'll replay that sequence again from the top of the hill in full speed. Let me just get rid of the menu. So dab the brake, see the grate, and then another dab of the brake, get it into the ditch, and on full power. Now, nice and easy, but then we've got this nasty corner, because this corner, the car runs away with you down the hill as you're turning here. So if you turn in too sharp for this one, you're going to spin the car around, and it's going to want to start to go right instead of left. There's a problem because the next corner is left. So I'm actually taking this one quite conservatively here. You see that I just coasted around the corner instead of sort of braking then accelerating. I didn't actually accelerate after that corner. There is more lap time to be found there. And I'm also a little bit in the middle of the road here. I needed really to be over to the right, so dodgy driving there, maybe a couple of tenths lost. You're about to see me really lose that time through here now because I wasn't able to get on the accelerator until late into the apex. So now we've got a nice long straight, and seeing the split time down here, if you're going for a gold, I'll tell you what you need to be on, because that'll be what's coming up here. If you want to be on for a gold, you need to be sort of in the low end of the 57s. My best was a 156.9. So again, I didn't hook a lap together with my best sectors, but I was down in the 56.9. Nice and easy down here, and then you're just looking for the 150 board basically. Just start braking in a straight line as far to the edge of the track as you can at the 150 board. And then, nice and easy as well, you start turning for the corner at the 50. So there, start turning, just touch that curb on the inside and touch that curb on the side there. And then last braking zone, easy to throw away the lap here because you've done 2 minutes of driving and you've just got this last braking zone to get right. So there's a lot of pressure on it. I'll tell you my braking marker, it's not the 100, you can brake slightly later than the 100. I am braking just before this red piece of pit lane entry ends. So you see the red triangle there, just there. I'm braking just before that, and I'm mashing the gears as well. So mash the gears down into second. It'll just help the front end rotate, and there you go. That is our first out of 4 golds. And it is a 2:32.9. The gold time is a 2:33.6 or something like that. So this is 7/10 in. It's very comfortable, and you can see that there were a few mistakes on the lap. So now we're going to go over to our next lap. So now we'll do Laguna Seca, which is the next one to finish out of all of these gold deadlines. This was a much more difficult one, by the way. Laguna Seca was quite tricky. So let's just put the right view and everything. Here we go. And I'll show you the car as well. So let's just do the quick walk around of the track and the car. So just remembering how I do that. Here we go. So the car is a Mercedes GT3. It is, I think, the new Mercedes GT3. And just to point out, this is an official championship. So this time trial is in order to win a prize. I think the prize is a real Mercedes, but not the race car. I think it's just the road car. So there's a lot of competition for this because a lot of people want to win that car in real life. So it's all sponsored by Mercedes AMG. The car is on Racing Softs, which are the fastest tyre in the game. And we are here at Laguna Seca, where you can see off in the distance out there is the corkscrew sign off in the distance over by the hills. And it is a very unforgiving track with a very unforgiving car. So, hint, hint, this took quite a lot of attempts, this lap. This is the one that I finished the most recently. I finished this tonight, same night that I'm recording this. Let's quickly change the view. So I'm actually going to use the nose view for this one. This is the one that I used on this car because the bonnet of the car is really long. So you don't want to use the middle camera, in my opinion. And here we go. It's a short lap. So keeping to the inside down here, and I'm just going to pause just here as we come up to the first braking zone. So I want to get the car in a straight line, and I'm braking where this piece of tarmac starts on the right. So not at the 3, but at the place where the tarmac on the right starts, just there where I paused the camera. And what you want to do, so I actually mess it up. This is the worst start to the lap that I made out of all of them. But it was the lap that got me gold. So because the rest of the lap is absolutely mind-blowingly good. Okay, I'm braking, and I'm aiming to get the car. This is where I missed the apex. You're aiming to get the car in on that apex. So I'm really wide here, but It's a weird corner because what you can do is you can cut back. So this is what I did. I cut back and took the second apex and got on the power nice and early. So it kind of rescued the corner. There was a tenth lost because if I'd have kept that smooth and kept on both apexes, it would have been about a tenth of a second quicker. But that's the waffle out of the way. Now for the amazing part of the lap. So this next corner is really difficult because, as you can see, we are not over on the left-hand side of the track. You can't get the car over there quickly enough because there's not enough space coming off of that hairpin. So it's compromised corner entry. It's a skill that you're going to have to learn if you want to really do the lap times, is how to handle a compromised corner entry. Okay, so I'm getting the car as close to this side as I can, but look, the car is still facing onto that blue barrier there. I start my braking. I've gone past it. You can see it there. The marker that I've clearly gone past is where I start braking. Okay. Let's see if we can. There. So that marker is there. That's where you start the braking, and it's a very light, gentle braking. So look at my trace. I'm like only on full braking very momentarily. You see there, it only just peaked for a moment. And I'm just trying to flick the car in second gear across onto this inside curb here. I've then short shifted into third to help keep the rear wheels working as efficiently as possible. To get the lap time, you need to have as much grip on all four tyres at all times. So by short shifting into third, you're ensuring that rears keep grip at all times. And you're aiming to try and get really close to this sausage. You really need to touch sausage to be fast here. Don't hit the sausage, just gently caress the sausage, and you will go fast. So you see, I'm basically just running my body along that sausage, and then I'm slowly getting on the accelerator on the way out. And there's plenty of innuendos at this track, by the way, just to point out. Next one, you've got the track designers are really kind to you on this next corner because it's a medium speed corner, and getting the turn-in point for this is really difficult. Right? You can make or break the corner depending on whether you turn in just slightly too early, in which case you're going to fly off that sausage into the crowd, or if you turn in too late, in which case you're going to bite the dust on the outside of the corner. So what you do is look at the line at the end of the track here. You see that it tapers, this curb tapers. That's actually the turning point, and you can use the dark part of the tarmac to guide you as well. So what you want to be doing is just the slightest dab on the brakes at the 1, and follow parallel to that curb. I'm actually doing like a wedge motion with my hand right now that you can't see on camera, but you see there. So look, I followed that wedge, and I'm aiming again just to get really close to the sausage. Always rub your body on the sausage. You see there? I'm having a little nibble of that sausage. And then just be really patient and make sure that you can get on the full power and not lift. So you see, I didn't have to lift. I kept it. As soon as I applied the throttle progressively, I didn't let off. Now you need to pay homage to your mother as you go under the mother's sign, and you're braking just before the 2, but there's a nice braking marker on the right here. This little piece of barrier where they ran out of concrete and they've made a white barrier for you, that's actually your braking reference point. So you can see it's just gone off the edge of my screen there, and in the next frame when I press play, I'm going to start braking. So you see, brake, and now I just want to say there's a real trick here. You've got to full tilt the car into the left. You've got to oversteer the car onto the apex here, and then I actually kind of lost, like, again, half a tenth on this corner exit because I wasn't able to get onto full power as early as I wanted to. Really, the car should still be facing slightly to the left here. And as you see where I've frozen the image, it's actually pointing at a tree. So there is enough grip to make it from here onwards, but really you want it to be just facing just ever so slightly more inwards, and then you can put full power really early. But I still got onto full power at a decent pace. Now we're coming up to the bravery test. This is the corner that separates the noobs from the pros. Okay, and I'm not classing myself as a pro. This corner, trust me, the AI and noobs brake and then slow down and then they turn and then they have a think and then they accelerate. No. You want to flick the crap out of your car here. You are wanting to just bang on the brakes at the two board, just flick them ever so slightly, flick the car, launch it to the left, and hope to God you get around the corner. And it looks a bit like this. There you go. I'll replay the last two corners at full speed because it always looks easy when you play it in replay. But watch this. Flick and across and out. I've actually taken it more aggressively than that, but it's not always faster to take it more aggressively. And then there's a weird braking point here because you're actually braking at the nice guy in the orange next to the pickup truck, this guy over here. So I'm just braking just there. It's kind of also in line with the 4, but I think the 4 is a little bit too early. And then what you want to do is kind of use as much of the track on the right as you can. Get the car down into second gear and cut across this curb. In fact, if I could have cut the curb slightly more, it would have been better. And I'm then going to short shift into third gear and straight line the exit. This is the corkscrew. This is the most famous corner on the track. Third gear, across. And then you have another compromised corner entry here. So this is one where you cannot get the car far to the right, and even if you did, the camber of the corner really throws you out. So you want to take a middle line, and then you just want to sort of lift off as you hit these shadows and make sure that the car is going to hook up to this apex, and then you can get on full power and run it out. And then you've just got a real short stop and go braking here. So you just, again, look at this. The car is actually facing to the left going into a right-hand corner. So instead of having to rotate through 90 degrees, the car currently has to rotate through 100 degrees. You've got an extra 10 degrees of rotation to achieve. It's what makes this track so challenging. But I'm going to deal with that just by a short, sharp braking at the 2 and get the car to follow into the dip of the corner. Like so, and on the power as soon as I pass the sausage. Final corner, and this one's an adventure as well because it's a hairpin and it looks simple, but it's not. What you want to do here is get the car to oversteer onto the apex. This is a very understeery car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smash it down the gears really late. I'm going to get off the accelerator, get off the brakes just as I turn in, and then I'm going to try and catch the rear of the car. Okay, so it sounds like a magic trick, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to slam the brakes, get the car onto the front axle, and then when it says I don't want to turn, I'm going to get off the brakes ever so slightly. It'll start to oversteer, and then I'm going to catch the oversteer. 3, 2, 1. And that's not actually what happened, because I actually got understeer on this lap. On the other laps I've done, I got oversteer. So there you go. That's a 121.0. And I'm slightly confused because I thought I'd done a one. No, I haven't done a 120.9. That was an invalid lap. So yes, I've done a 121.0. The gold time is a 121.3. So it's only 0.3 within, but being a short lap, it's quite difficult to get the gold. Right, on to the next one. This is a marathon. So the next one is an even faster car, and it's even more insania. Let's go over to it now. It is at Suzuka, and it's this one here. This is my most dominant lap. This is the closest I've got to a world record for quite a long time. This lap is only 1.5 seconds off the world record and is currently in the top 500 in the world. So, bragging aside, I'm quite happy with that. And the car, let's just show you all of the information. So, it is a Japanese touring car. These things are the fastest touring cars in the world. This car has 550 horsepower. It's on racing medium tyres, so it's not on the best tyres it could be. It has more downforce than a Le Mans car. and honestly, I think it's almost got as much grip as a Formula 2 car. It really is an insane car, and I absolutely love driving them. And you can see from the big wheel in the distance, this is Suzuka, which is one of the most fun tracks to drive in a car with downforce. So here we go. Maximising the amount of track that I've got as I come across the start line. And probably the hardest corner on the track is the first turn. So as we come down here, basically, you're always taught as a racing driver, brake in a straight line. You can't brake in a straight line because there's a bloody corner before the corner. There's literally a corner in the way of the corner. So what you've got to do here is you've got to ease off by just the right amount that you can get a good track position on the way out of the first kink, and then feed the car into the second kink, which is the tighter of the two corners. So you've got to sort of progressively slow down. You're doing 167 miles an hour on the way in, and I think we'd be doing about 100 on the way out. So just, you see there, I'm just ever so gently braking, just like half braking. And then I'm not letting the car go all the way to the outside, because then you've got further to turn to get into the next corner. So I'm just keeping the car sort of in the middle of the road, and then I'm going to scrub off that little bit of speed and continue turning. I actually got it slightly wrong. You see there was a kick of oversteer there mid-corner. You see that the car's now bobbled and I'm facing off to the left. But it's okay because it's got enough grip to make up for it on the way through the corner. We'll play it again, full speed. So this is the only mistake I make on the lap, by the way. And I think it cost me about 2/10. So you can see there was that bobble of oversteer mid-corner. And now we've got this wonderful sequence. Just off the accelerator, brake, on the accelerator, just run it to the inside, just gentle braking, wait until the car's gripped up, and then I flick the car to the right here, and then flick it across back to the left, because it's got enough grip to make that flick to the right, to make the line wider, and then I'm just progressively blending it into this line to the left. Not letting go of the accelerator all the way around, and now we've got a really terrifying corner. This is pretty crazy. Basically, just before the 50, there's no sort of braking reference here because everything's moving too fast. You're doing 149 miles an hour. So I just sort of memorized to brake just slightly before the 50, and you're going down into fourth and then straight back into fifth. I don't remember if I went back into fifth or not, but it's literally just a flick down and then back up. Yep, back into fifth. As soon as you're out of that corner, you have no time to think and gather your thoughts, and you're straight into the next. So here, again, there's not really much of a braking point to remember. I'm trying to give some advice here, but to be honest, I just sort of remember that I have to brake a car length or two before the end of the rumble strip. And the goal is to try and get as much of the car onto the curb on the inside as possible. So, get down into second gear because that's going to help the front end turn in, but then I'm going to get into third as soon as I can. So, into third on the apex, run it out. Nice easy corner here, followed by the hairpin, and you're braking for the hairpin pretty much like when you're coming up to this Dunlop sign on the left. Braking a straight line, short shift. You don't actually have to hit the apex on the inside of that corner. If you do, you'll struggle to get the power down on the way out of it. So you want to take a wide apex on that corner and get the car up through the gears, keep it to the right down here. And now I'm preparing myself for the next corner. And the next corner, you need to brake where the path is on the right here. There's a path. You see it coming up there? This one here. And I'm just going to brake down into, I think, fourth gear. It's either fourth or third, but I think fourth should be enough. Yep. And then you want to just try and hit that apex. and be really, really, really cautious on the power. You see, I'm not actually getting on the power at all. I'm just coasting the car, just gentle speed, gentle bit of power, and then in one continuous motion, without changing my steering angle. You can see the red dot, by the way, on the screen, which is my steering angle. It's just above the speedo there, the red dot that's slightly to the left. That's my steering angle. And if you watch it around this corner, it's all just one constant motion. But, well, he says, as he now increases the steering angle to the limit. And you can see that the reason, right, there's if you're a geek. The corners off camber. You see how the corner's sloping outwards, and then the camber comes to you as you go around the corner. You sort of it starts to turn downhill as you get around the corner. So you can see here that I have had to increase my steering angle to maintain the same line. Yeah, to try and maintain that 77 miles an hour, and I'm drifting outwards even though I'm on like full lock. But there's enough track on the outside to run it out. We've got the easiest corner next. This is just flat out. The next one, 130R. Nice and flat. And then you're just looking for your braking point on the left. So the braking point on the left is just before the 100. So again, I sorry for the lack of advice here. I don't really have a braking marker other than it's before the 100, and I just kind of got it by muscle memory. You know, I just kind of got the feel for it. Straight line, and then you want to cut across as much of this curb as you can, which I didn't do. I definitely had another tenth or two left here if I'd have taken more curb. Because the more curb you take on the right, the more room you've got to accelerate on the left. So you see here now I'm quite pinned up against the side of the track here, which is going to compromise my exit speed. You see I'm having to now correct it and get all the way across this curb, whereas, you know, I could have been on the power. But this lap was still phenomenal. This lap was still, as I say, a second and a half off the gold. And if I keep practicing this lap, I think I can get this down to 149.3, which would put me in, say, the top 100 in the world. So I'm really, really excited to keep grinding this one. There's 2 weeks left on this at the time of this video, so I might have another go. And finally, last track. This is a long video, but the last track. Let's go to it. Where is it? It is Spa. And I should have maybe done this one at the beginning because this time attack's only got 2 days left on it. This is a very competitive time attack because there is a prize for the person who wins it. The person who wins this time attack and sets the world record will get a Honda Civic in real life. So everyone's been going a bit crazy trying to set the fastest times, and this competition has been open for almost a month. So with only a few days left, people have had a lot of time to optimize their lap times here. The time I'm about to show you is half a second within the gold. Yeah, I need to tell you about the car, don't I? So the car, we are in this classic Honda Formula One car. This was a F1 car back in the day. Mid-engined. It's on sports tyres, I think. I can't. Oh no, it's not. It's on racing hards. My bad. It's on racing hard tyres. It's not got a huge amount of power, but it only weighs 600 kilos. And to my surprise, it's got 6 gears, which I thought was a bit interesting for a car from 1960 to have 6 gears, but it does. And something interesting about this car, just before I begin, it has the lightest steering of any car I've ever driven on Gran Turismo. You could turn the steering wheel with your little finger, and this actually causes a problem when you're driving it, because under braking, it is actually quite hard to keep the car in a straight line because of how light the steering is. A lot of people have complained about it, saying it feels very numb, but I don't like to make excuses, and you soon get used to it. So we're going to switch over to our race display and select our camera. It would be really fun to do it from this camera angle, wouldn't it? or even less fun from that one though. Obviously, this was the camera I was using when I was doing my laps. I think it's the perfect camera position for this car. You can really see where you're pointing the car. So starting the lap, we need to run all the way to the outside here. You want to rev it all the way to the red line. And then my eyes are on the first braking marker, which is ever so slightly before the 100. Like, we're talking, say, about 5 meters before the 100. So I'm braking now, straight line, and then I'm hooking onto that barrier, and then full throttle. And now becomes like now comes the really difficult part. Eau Rouge is the hardest corner on the track, and there's a trick. So you see here that I'm getting the car pretty much off the track. I have no idea why this is allowed, but it is allowed. This is not cheating. You are allowed to do this for some reason. So that's what I'm doing. I'm basically using all of this curb because it makes the right-hand part of the Eau Rouge just that bit shallower in terms of the steering angle. And what you're about to see is, as I come across this, I'm just going to dab the brakes ever so slightly. So watch on the trace on the left, you'll see just a very momentary, well, you can't even see it, there's the dab, literally just that. And then I'm pointing the car at that apex and then across the track at the top. It wasn't the best of taken Eau Rouge, but it was so unpredictable what the car was going to do there. It was a bit of a lottery. We've got a very difficult braking marker coming up here. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go back and we'll do the whole thing again. So you see there, it's just like a slight reduction, but try and keep it smooth, try and get back on the power. I was about a tenth down on my personal best in the first sector. And then what I'm doing here is I'm looking for a braking point sort of where this red bit of barrier is. It's really hard to see at this speed, but there's a red piece of barrier on the left. So that's where I'm braking. It's just in front of the 100. And then what's really important here is how you ease the car into the corners. If I was still using any brake as I turn across here, the car's going to understeer. So all I'm doing is just gently riding the brake, and I'm trying to get the car as close to these cones without hitting them as possible. Gather the car up, let off the accelerator, and once you feel it's turned in, get on the full power. It's very easy to pick the braking point for the next corner because it's just the start of the rumble strip. You want to then get it down the gears and point the nose of the car into the next corner. So just hook up with the apex on the way out, short shift, and then you're just going to, on this one, you've got another compromised corner here. You know, I mentioned it earlier, when you're pointing to the right and your corner goes to the left, but there's nothing you can do about it. So all you can do about it really is just to be very gentle on the brakes and ease the car back onto the right sort of trajectory. So you can see by this point in the corner, I'd got the car facing into the corner, and I'm just going to gently ride the brakes as I aim for the bollard on the left, and then full power. Next corner, I think, is harder than it looks. Sorry, no, easier than it looks. Easier than it looks, yes. So you want to be braking just before the 50. You can brake out the 50 if you're feeling brave. But I find that if you brake just ever so slightly earlier than you think you have to, you tend to get around the corner with that much more exit speed. It's kind of like the opposite of what Lewis Hamilton says, but maybe that's why I'm at home and he's a world champion. So you want to just get like braking in a straight line down into fourth gear, and then just moderate the brakes. As I've been saying in all of the previous corners, this car really understeers if you have any braking. So you just want to just gently moderate the braking as you turn to the left. So you see I'm moderating it there. You see I'm still braking, but only a little bit. And then once I'm around the first part of the corner, I gather it up on full throttle to get out of the corner. And now I've actually paused it too late, because actually where I brake is on that shadow. Don't brake at the beginning of the curb, which is where you would brake for like any GT cars or Le Mans cars. This is not a Le Mans car, so you want to start braking where that shadow is. And again, you see I'm using half brakes, and then I'm rolling the car in. And again, just rolling the car. Next corner, I actually started braking earlier than I thought there. So I actually don't know my braking point for this. This is all going wrong now that I'm near the end of the recording. I'm just going to watch it and then pretend that I knew where my braking point is. I do a lot of this by memory, to be honest. So we go under the sign, and well, it must have been something like where this barrier is, but I wasn't really using that, to be honest. I was just doing it off feel. The key is to get the car, again, pointing at these bollards, but aim to sort of glance them as you go past. And you see, again, I'm riding the brakes around the corner rather than sort of accelerating, braking, accelerating, braking. I'm just gently coasting around the corner, holding the brakes on. And then once I feel like I'm clear, I go. You need to just take a dip off the accelerator on the way into this one. So I'm into fourth gear, and then I'm just going to dip off the accelerator. And you see how the car's lurched to the inside as I've dipped off the accelerator. You see, like here, the car is actually sliding. So that's really the way that you want to be taking a corner like this, is to sort of slide the car in. Otherwise, you'll find that it's very easy to end up in the ditch on the left. And then a really nasty corner coming up, not this one, but the one after. A corner that is flat in most cars, but not in this one. So I'm braking where the skid marks start. That was what I was saying to myself, is where the skid marks start. Just tap the brakes, go down a gear, coast the car in, and get on the full power as soon as you feel it's gripping. And then the last corner, brake earlier than you think. You brake actually as you pass this line here. So you see now I'm on the brakes, and we want to be hitting that apex on the right and then the one on the left. So that sounds very simple, but you know, a lot of people tend to go deep into that first apex, and then they have to turn the car like more than 90 degrees to make the second apex. So you see here how I've kept the car still pretty close to the right-hand side of the track, and then it just means that I can sweep across and get on the power much earlier. And there we go, across the line, and we are 5/10 up on the gold. So it's been an omnibus. I hope someone out there finds all of these guides useful, and you know, if not, I hope people appreciate how much effort and skill goes into producing some of these laps. I may not be a world champion, but I like to think I am. No, I put a lot of effort into this. Right, it's not something that you can just pick up and do. So I'm looking forward to a lot of time off now, because I've done 4 time trials in the space of a week. But there's none coming up for a while, so I'm going to relax and enjoy the end of the summer. So I'll see you all in the next one, and thanks for watching.